again, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is your boy Lewis, and I'm back with a second straight video with another one. Once again, welcome to my Lewis Basketball Network, and I'm back with another banger with yet another video. So, what I wanted to talk about is the importance of tonight's Game 6 between the Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets, and why I feel that this series has the legacy on the line for Chris Paul, James Harden, and Stephen Curry. Now, you're probably asking yourself, why would you want to say Steph Curry? Steph Curry's already won championships, Lewis. Steph Curry's already been proven in the postseason. Here's the thing, man. Steph Curry is my favorite player. Stephen Curry gets a bad rap for always saying that he doesn't really show up in big games in the postseason. That's just not true. I'm actually going to do a video on performances that Steph Curry has had in the postseason and show you that he has performed at a very high level in the postseason. It's just people just want to make these myths to always talk about this Steph as a playoff choker. That's not necessarily true, and I will do a future video on that. But here's the thing with this series. Steph Curry has not played up to par in this series. Part of the reason is because he shares duties with Kevin Durant. Now, I know a certain somebody, and he knows who I'm talking about. He knows, see there? About that, Kevin Durant is the best player in the game. I've said that he is. I made a video as to why Kevin Durant was the best player in the game. But here's the thing. Steph Curry is a rhythm player. Same thing with Klay Thompson. They both are going to predicate their game off of movement. Steph Curry is much more effective with the ball in his hands. See, that's the thing. The offense has been run through Kevin Durant. It hasn't been run through Steph Curry. And if you're going to sit here and tell me that Steph Curry is not important, why is he still being physically challenged by guys like PJ Tucker, Iman Shumpert, Chris Paul, James Harden? Like, he's getting roughed up, man. And it's not just because that Curry, he can't just deal with the physical play, but they know what kind of impact Curry has on the game of basketball. They know the impact. So that's why I said that Curry's still important, because he draws attention. Kevin Durant draws attention, but because Kevin Durant is there, it's really hard to double. But the thing is, why are teams still game planning for Steph Curry if he's not important? It just tells you his threes impact the game probably like no other player that we've seen before. Keyword, I said threes. I didn't just say his game, okay? His threes impact the game like no other player. His threes have a tendency to demoralize you. When you're thinking in the game, Steph Curry has this quick release and he has a quick strike. Pew! Next thing you know, he could go on a personal run. He could galvanize a team and they go on a personal run. They go on a personal run with Steph Curry. Like, that's how great of a player Steph Curry is. Klay Thompson is one of the best two-way players in the game. One of the greatest shooters of all time. But his game predicates of the attention that Steph Curry gets. His game predicates, I'm going to say that again, his game predicates off of Steph Curry's attention. Take Steph Curry off this team. You think Klay Thompson's going to get the same shots that he gets when Steph is not on the floor? Absolutely freaking not. No. Kevin Durant went down with a calf injury, with the calf strain. And luckily, it is a mild calf strain, which tells me that it's probably a grade 1, because a grade 1, you can heal in about a week. And the good news for Kevin is that he's dealt with this injury twice in his career before. So it tells me that he should be able to bounce back. See, if he had a grade 2, he would be missing anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks of recovery time. And that's not a lot of time, which means he would have missed the entire Western Conference Finals and possibly most of the NBA Finals, or at least the early part of it, because it's 3 to 6 weeks. So depending on how his body is and how the calf heals, right? But here's the thing. You got to understand, man. The reason that the Splash Brothers have a chance, people are saying how Kevin Durant has carried the Golden State Warriors in the playoffs. Well, here's the thing that we have to understand about the word carry in terms of Kevin Durant with this Golden State Warrior team. The Golden State Warriors don't really have a bench. Their bench is very depleted. There's really nobody who you can count on that could give you instant scoring. So remember, the way Steve Kerr plays his bench, you have to blend them in with the starting lineup. It's not like if guys could come in and they could just score the basketball, where you could just have one starter like with the rest of the second unit. Like that was the case in 2017 and 2018 when their benches started to deplete, and their benches were much better at the time. Like, you're missing JaVale McGee. David West. You had guys that brought toughness, man. to the Warriors. And so Kevin Durant's carrying is a result of the offense being run through him and the bench not being as deep as it once was. With Steph Curry now having the ball in his hands more, you're going to see pre-KD Warriors again. And for a glimpse in Game 5 when KD went down, they regrouped and was able to, withhold the Houston Rockets. They played great defensively. They hit some big shots. Draymond Green looked like 2015, 2016 Draymond. I mean, the thing is that now we're going to see the true test right here. Can Steph Curry and Klay Thompson bring this to the road? And I want to call them the Road Warriors. As a matter of fact, even though Houston has a legitimate chance to win and they have the edge, I'm still going to pick the Warriors to win this game. I'm going to pick them to win this game. And this now brings me to the Houston Rockets. If Chris Paul does not help James Harden, if James Harden touches the ball one time in the fourth quarter and only takes anywhere from 1 to 3 shots in like an 8 to 9 minute stretch, if Chris Paul does not help James Harden, this is a guy who's making $35 million, ladies and gentlemen, and his money is going to increase the next 2 years on his contract. In my opinion, this is the Houston Rockets' last chance to make it to the NBA Finals, because if they do not get through this series, I don't see them ever winning a championship, and then Daryl Morey is going to have to break this team up, and he's going to have to get rid of Mike D'Antoni. Because Mike D'Antoni, he's just a guy that what you see is what you get. And that's why I continue to say, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to Mike D'Antoni, James Harden, and Chris Paul, it's the more things change, the more they stay the same. And that's what applies to the Houston Rockets. I'm telling you, this offense is probably going to work only because they're playing at home. Okay? Only because they're playing at home. They're going to be energized. They have a chance that they could blitz. Listen, they have a chance to really much more game plan for Steph and double since Kevin Durant is not there. But the thing is, that even with Kevin Durant there, it was like, we're going to let Kevin Durant get his. While Steph Curry and Klay, we're going to pay attention to them. And Steph and Klay will miss shots. But like I said, the ball is going to move a lot more. So even though KD's injury hurts their championship chances, for this one game in Game 6, they have an opportunity to still win. Because you're going to see the old Warriors, the man movement, the ball movement. And Kevon Looney was huge in Game 5. So the game ball goes to him. Him, Andrew Bogut, Alonzo McKinney, they're going to have to be big. And I would even give minutes to Quinn Cook if I'm Steve Kerr. I need to use my guys now because KD's not here anymore. And DeMarcus Cousins, remember, is injured right now. So you got him and Cousins injured. I'm just going to pick the Warriors. Listen, if the Rockets win, they win Game 7. The critical part was that Golden State had to win Game 5 because if they didn't win Game 5, I don't think that they would have able to come on the road to be able to beat Houston in Game 6 with that hostile environment. I didn't see it coming. I think it would have took a mental hit on the Warriors had they did that. But they regrouped, man, and they showed mental toughness in that Game 5 and pulled through, which gives them 2 opportunities to beat the Houston Rockets. And remember, we got 2 Game 7s, and the Celtics and the Bucks disappointed me more so from the Celtics side, and the Bucks were the better team. But if Chris Paul and James Harden don't get it done, they will be labeled playoff chokers. Same thing with Mike D'Antoni. James Harden has been balling in this series, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get me wrong. But we're not talking about the entire series. So he could be balling the entire series. But what's the most important quarter of any quarter in a game that's going to decide a basketball game? The fourth quarter. So you could tell me about the numbers that James Harden averages. They go right out the window if he doesn't show up in the fourth quarter. They go right out the window. Because that's the thing. Fans are going to want to use excuses to say, oh, but why are you going to blame it on James Harden? James was averaging 31 points a game. How many shots did he take in the fourth quarter? 2. But he was trying to get everybody involved. Here's the thing. You got to be aggressive in the fourth quarter. Aggressive. Looking for your shot and looking to make plays for other people. You got to be aggressive. You start getting passive. You just start passing the ball up every time and then coming up with an excuse as to why things happen. Guess what? You're not going to be looked at as a superstar. This is where superstars make their name. In the playoffs, especially down the stretch in the fourth quarter, especially in close games. Chris Paul's body is declining for me. And to me, that's why he's looking more of a sidekick more than a great point guard right now. Especially if we keep saying, put the ball in Chris Paul's hands and manage the game. I feel like Paul and Harden, to me, they look kind of timid and scared out there. For me. People are going to say, why are you going to say timid and scared when James Harden is averaging over 30 points a game? He's averaging nearly 36 a game. I cannot tell you, ladies and gentlemen, how those numbers are so deceiving. What if James Harden has 36 points through 3 quarters, right? And what if James Harden only scores 1 point in the fourth quarter? Are his 37 points going to matter because he scored 37 points and was efficient, or are they going to really matter because he didn't show up in the fourth quarter? See, that's the problem with the stats that people love to throw out. They tell the truth, but not the whole story. Sure, you scored 37 points, but where were you in the fourth quarter? See, intangibles, the little things, ladies and gentlemen, the little things. Chris Paul could have 27 points. He could have 10 assists. He could have 7 rebounds. Chris Paul only scores 2 points in the fourth quarter. Am I going to talk about the brilliant game you have, or am I going to talk about that you didn't show up in the fourth quarter? You lose the series, and then people go, oh, you see, well, great regular season, man. You know, they were great, but guess what? When it came time to show up, they didn't show up. And I think Steph Curry has a chip on his shoulder to prove people that that these Warriors are still good, that despite Kevin Durant, and that we can still pull off a game to try to win. Because what happens is if Steph Curry doesn't win this series, they're going to say, oh, you see, you can't win without Kevin Durant. See, but we already know that they're depleted in terms of their depth. So Steph Curry's really he's not covered. So right now, Curry's like literally exposed because it's really just him and the other starters. We got to see who Steve Kerr's play. We got to see what he mixes up. And now this is going to test Steve Kerr because he's going to have to actually coach. D'Antoni's already set his card. He's really not doing anything. Eric Gordon is going to have to be there tonight because his game comes and goes. It's one game good, one game meh. So we'll see. But I said, Chris Paul and James Harden, their legacies are on the line. And Curry has carried his Warriors before. But now in the circumstances that he's in with Paul and Harden, can Steph Curry pull it out one more time? Him and Clay be the Splash Bros. And I'm predicting a really good game for the Golden State Warriors, and I got them in Game 6. So once again, this is the boy Lewis with another one, man. Let me know what you guys think, man. As always, man, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is this a legacy-defining moment for Steph Curry? Is this a legacy-defining moment for the Houston Rockets and James Harden, Chris Paul, and even Mike D'Antoni for sakes? So as always, man, bless up, one love, peace. Thanks for watching.